Annabelle creation follows a group of 6 orphans and their nun, and they practically have nowhere else to go. An old toy maker comes along and offers them a place to stay in their old creepy house in the middle of nowhere. It sounds like Courage the Cowardly Dog, right? We all know what happens in that show. Crazy shit happens in the middle of nowhere. So does this movie. So one of the girls is being terrorized in the middle of the night by some ghost, and that leads her into the locked room that everyone knows not to go in. But for some reason, when she goes to it, it's unlocked. But she knows the story of the parents having a little girl named Annabelle 12 years ago, and she died in an accident. So there's a secret door in the room, and you open it up, and there's a bunch of Bible pages glued to the wall. I actually liked that imagery to it, and then it was all really cool because then in the middle of that room sits the doll Annabelle, and we all know that's when shit got real. So first things first, I didn't enjoy the first Annabelle movie. I actually watched my review for my Annabelle review like a long time ago when the first one came out. I only watched it once, and that was enough for me because I really just hated that movie. So I had a lot of expectations for this one because I was just like, I don't really need an Annabelle sequel because what you guys showed me in the first one, you guys, I mean, it's not scary. Like, so it was cool as a cameo in The Conjuring, and actually just a little side story, I actually just now saw The Conjuring like a couple days ago. Annabelle was really creepy in that movie, so I was like, okay, so I hope they watched The Conjuring and saw what we liked in that one and they brought it to this one. Like, screw the first Annabelle, let's just erase that from our minds, like X-Men Origins Wolverine, and just make a new one. And there was a lot of creepy imagery in this movie. Like, everything just comes down to, like, I knew there was going to be like a terrorizing scene because they have like a chair that goes up, and it's like an electrical chair that goes upstairs for, you know, like disabled people, and I knew they were going to have that being used for some scary scene, which they did, and it was well executed. And even shots that didn't even need jump scares, just ones that you just saw something in the background, that's where you know, that's what more stuff like that is actually scary. That's one of the things that I want to see in more horror movies. Like another movie like that I actually kind of was hoping that it wasn't going to be like, it was The One in Black 2. Like, the plot sounds just alike, so I was just like, please don't focus on a lot of the things that movie did, because that failed in on itself. So please let this just be an individual thing. So in this movie, I guess, you know, there's a universe expanding, obviously. They have the movies of The Conjuring, and then this has Annabelle sequel. So, you know, all of them are connected. They're trying to do the Marvel big money. Everyone's trying to do it in some way. And they have this version of it. So, of course, we had some Easter eggs to things that they want to do in the future, like the nun from The Conjuring 2. I'm actually a huge fan of this nun because without even thinking about what this movie is about, just by seeing the nun, I wanted to see it because that nun is just creepy. Screw being afraid of clowns. Nuns are scary. If you see this in the hallway, and then if you see a clown in the hallway, which one's more scary? I think this is more scary. So there's like a side story with the nun. I'm not going to go into too much detail with it, but I can see a setup story for the nun movie, and I'm actually really excited for that. So this movie also did something that the first one didn't do. It actually gives me characters I actually care about. The 2 main orphans that you follow, you know, I don't really remember their names like that. I'm sorry, it's just me. They're obviously not related to each other, but they give each other that sister bond, and they say, okay, well, if somebody adopts you, then they're going to adopt me, and same things vice versa. You know, we're going to stick together for the rest of our lives. So the whole time you want to root for them, you want them to have like the like Mike ending and have a parent and everything to be good in the world. But you know, it's a horror movie, it can't be that good. So my favorite scene actually is from the trailers. She's outside sitting in her wheelchair, she's sitting by herself, and all of a sudden hands come and just start pushing her, and then she's just like freaking out, like, who's pushing her? And she looks up, and then all of a sudden you just see like a figure of somebody, like the sun is in the background so you can't even see the person's face, which is an awesome decision because it even makes it more scary. You can just tell that that girl is freaking out, and then all of a sudden she gets locked in a room, she can't get out. I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys. It also knows how to be funny because, you know, everyone knows how to be funny in a horror movie. Like when something comes out of nowhere, you want to just say like, oh hell no, oh no, I'm not going down that way. Or when something is coming at you, they're just like, oh, I don't even care, let's just run away, which is the right decision to do. And this movie has a lot of moments like that. Not like a lot like, you know, like Marvel does, like just every 5-10 minutes of it, but you know, it does the good when it's needed. The only bad thing I can really say with this movie is the parents, and it's not in the way that, you know, you would think. It's just they're really useless in the movie. Like, they could have easily been out of the script, out of the movie, and the girls could have easily just got that house off of like an auction or something, and I mean, there you go. I mean, the parents really didn't need to be in the movie. Like, they were cool because of what we got with it, but for the most part, they were useless. And it actually helps that they were in it, because if they did go with that route of, oh, we found the house with the auction or something like that, then it would go in the line of, this is the same exact plot of The Woman in Black 2. So thankfully it wasn't, but still, they were pretty useless. So this is actually a side thing, and it's not really spoiling anything, so don't worry, I'm not that kind of guy. But if you don't know the story of Annabelle, the actual doll, the Hollywood version of the doll is nothing how it is. It's just a regular Raggedy Ann doll. And at the ending of this movie, they find a way to add that in and say, okay, this is the actual Annabelle doll. Which I was actually really happy, because I'm actually a fan of that story, and it's just interesting to see, like, you know, if it's real or not, and just to see the stories with the Warrens and what they went through with the doll, and just the stories that, you know, how the doll was actually created, like, yeah, or possessed. Some people in my theater were just confused, because at the, you know, they do it at the end and they're just like, wait, why do they have this doll now? Because, you know, it's a prequel, so it's like, okay, well, is this doll in the Conjuring movies, and is this in the case now? So are they going to make it up for their past mistakes? Which I actually hope. So overall with this movie, it had great imagery. I was actually really worried for these girls. I was rooting for them the whole time, and I love the ending and how they tied it in with the first Annabelle movie, even though the movie was crap. And I like it how they did have the homage to the original Annabelle doll. And overall, this movie is actually a great horror movie. It's not, well, actually, it's not like great, like it's the best movie in the world. In comparison of the first Annabelle, and with a lot of horror movies that we're having like come out with mainstream horror, this one's actually pretty good. It's not like your regular Hollywood horror movie that's just crap every summer. So I'm giving Annabelle Creation 4 stars. I was actually surprised I was given this star. I was really ready to give this movie 2 stars or just something worse. Annabelle Creation comes out on August 11th, so you guys have a little bit of time. Until then, look out for my Dunkirk and Valerian reviews. They should be out this week. And until then, I'll see y'all next time.